Hello traders, my evening video here, and I'll try to make it as fast as possible here. Okay, we start with our ES futures here. This beige area represents the opening gap from earlier this week. Started on Monday, and basically we're fading down here, and we're below yesterday's well, it's actually Monday's VPOC. We're trading below that at right now this hour. I kind of think we're going to fade lower in the overnight session, and I'm thinking we're going to come down here and test this VPOC here filled out last Friday. I think we're going to come down and test Friday's VPOC. 3341 is my initial target here for the ES futures. NQs are looking very bad here, so I do want to mention these. We came right down on Monday. We tested this trend line support. We tested it again on the close today, not lifting up very much at all. I think we're going to gap down, gap below these trend lines in the morning, and then we have a Monday gap fill to contend with. This Monday gap fill range here, and we're going to end up somewhere in this range right here on the NQs. Now, the strongest of them all, that is our Russell, and very strong pattern. Money has been Russell with the um, interest in the financials and the crude oil, and they've been using that to support the Russell here. I do think the financials are going to come off tomorrow with the markets, and crude oil has actually hit its upside target, in my opinion, for the week. XLE. This right here is our weekly VPOC from last week developed. We are currently trading above that, so I think the risk we might get continuation into the energy space, but I'm thinking the main momentum traders have already satisfied their goal of pushing price up above the 33.75 area, in my opinion, and we're probably going to fade back in if the markets come back in tomorrow, in my opinion. Okay, that's my quick overview. Now let me get into some individual things that I'm seeing in the markets. Okay, what I want to start with here, this is my FANG chart. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. If I take Apple out, the chart pretty much looks exactly the same. Basically, we got a 3 candle reversal with a sell signal on our major monsters of tech going on here underway right now. And keep in mind, there's only been less than 10 stocks that have been holding this entire market up. And so many of the leaders on the leaderboard are all getting neutral to sell signals setting up here going forward. So I wanted to point that out going forward here. So now I'll go in Apple first. And as you can see, my indicators up here, we are preparing to go from a neutral to a sell signal if we get any type of further continued selling. This is the primary channel. We are, for the second time, testing the bottom of that channel. 110 has to be critical support. 110, it breaks 110, and we can very quickly go down for the gap fill all the way down here around the $100 range. Okay, so a $10 drop very easily, and I do think we're going to come in tomorrow and potentially have a red signal, sell signal for Apple if we do any type of gap down here. So it's right on the cusp of turning bearish. Microsoft, already Apple, or it was one of the leaders to the downside. It's already turned bearish. Continuation, very possible here to the downside. It was one of the ones showing weakness first. Amazon. Okay, 3-day reversal candle. And this here is a major bearish engulfing are holding this on the close, just barely holding in there for Amazon on the downside, in my opinion. Okay. Google, 3 candle reversal signal. And as I mentioned in my prior video, XLC, that's the telecommunication ETF from the spiders, it was getting a lot of sell side. They were accumulating the puts on this. So this is one I got definitely on watch here. It's on the verge main holdings on that are Google and Facebook. So if you go to Facebook here, you see this. We're coming right down here. Uh, Potentially, this one here, not quite as clear if we're going to get a red candle on that one yet here. But if we open lower, of course, this is going to turn into a sell signal. If we were to open lower, gap lower tomorrow. Nice looking below here. I do think Facebook is going to fill this gap down here, possibly later this week or early next week, in my opinion. Other things I want to mention here: Netflix. These are all the monsters attacks. Basically, a three candle, see, engulfing candle right here. Possibly a three candle engulfing reversal to the bearish side on that one as well. We got the bearish signal on that one. Some other things I wanted to mention here. Oh, SMH. Your semiconductors already had a sell signal here, okay? And with this candle today, any type of lower open here, we are going to get a sell signal again for our semiconductors going into tomorrow. I'm going to start with AMD. First day sell signal in the amazing run up in this for years. We have not had a sell signal in AMD. We're finally getting a sell signal as of today on AMD. Nvidia is one of the strongest of the bunch, but we are potentially crossing back to a neutral from bullish back into neutral again for AMD, okay? Or for Nvidia, and they've been using Nvidia and Tesla to hold the markets up this week. And so that was definitely something I want to point out. Very bullish pattern here on Tesla, but I do want to point out here we do have a nice gap below us. It's the strongest stock out there, but there is a nice little gap that it could fall out of favor very quickly if the markets decide to roll over. We do have a substantial gap, weekly gap that happened Monday, and it's like a 20, $30, I think, was it? I think it's still, yeah, it's a 20, 30, about $20 gap there that could easily be filled this week. So that's something I've been calling out in the room, thinking that Tesla, if there's any type of weakness in the markets, it's going to fill that gap because the gap on it, in my opinion, is not nearly as supported as some of the other news related gaps. Okay. Um, I'm also keeping a close eye on HYG because I keep a huge put interest in HYG. So, and that is your corporate bonds, and that is normally will lead to the downside if there is a decent correction in the markets, in my opinion. And then I'm also watching Walmart because we had bad retail sale numbers. We just crossed to a neutral stance on Walmart today, so we do have a change of character for Walmart going on here. And was there any others here that I really wanted to talk about here? Facebook, Google, Microsoft, okay. And then I'm also keeping a close eye on XBI. That one here has had for 2 weeks now. We've had a sell signal on that. XBI did finally change, turn back rotation back into the biotechs. Started today, so yeah, we did get a little bit of rotation going on today. It wasn't all bad news, so I did want to point that out. We also had rotation or continued strength transports from FedEx. And I think we have a slight little gap there. I have to double check that. But we did have a really nice pop there in our transports today, based off the FedEx numbers. But we do have a nice little gap under FedEx as well if the markets did decide to come back in there and fill that gap to the upside on those earnings. And Fang. Okay. And then I'm also keeping an eye on Jets, and that's the airline ETF. And we are getting a breakout past 2 weeks. We have been seeing accumulation in the Jets ETF. So airlines, um, not on significant volume here, but we do have a slight breakout. Nothing to write home about, especially if these markets start to roll over here. It'll probably take those sectors as well. And I did also want to talk about Boeing. no bearish signal cross imminent anytime soon. So just keep that in mind. I didn't want to take it to the long side because it's still very very much a bearish pattern in my opinion. Okay, that's a quick rundown of what I'm seeing here. I'm expecting the markets to rotate lower. I've said that in my prior videos if you watched, and I'm trying to see the build out the head and shoulders patterns on especially the Nasdaq. Um, so okay, that's all I got to say. We'll see what happens, and but basically with the sell side activity on the Fang names, we have not seen that for a very long time since March. Okay, so this is the first initial sell side action since March that we're seeing hit the markets, and the past 3 days. It's not everything else that's happened before it. It's the past 3 days. It's really telling that there's something developing here, in my opinion, to the downside on these markets. Okay. Like the video if you like it. Please leave comments below and share it on Twitter if you can. Okay. Thanks.